look out of left field to me, but I'm going to ask you because someone in the crowd wanted to know. This is a yes/no question. We don't need any explanation. Will you consider raising taxes on cannabis or legalizing or taxing mushrooms to help with the taxes? How about this? They want to know where you would stand if they did.
Stan, you want to take it?
I don't think we've had. All right, I don't know. Somebody asked a question, so I asked it. All right, let's go to the next question. Sorry, I tried. This one says, comprehensive sex education, diversity, equity, inclusion, teaching in critical race theory and democracy schools ideology, as well as abysmally low proficiency in reading and math, are all malignant cancers that have unfortunately infiltrated Unit 5 schools, as well as schools across the state and the country. What are your thoughts on this crisis? Do you believe it's a crisis that's facing us in this public education system?
Sure, this crisis, in my own experience with my 8th grader at Parkside Junior High, this crisis exists today in the way that we're trying to separate the parents from having a voice in the way our kids are educated. It's a difficult time. I would say probably, and every generation says this, right? This is a simple thing to say, but it's a difficult time to have young people. The onslaught against them, it's YouTube, it's social media, it's the school system where we would hope we could send them and they could just learn things. But it's a time that parents have to be more involved and more engaged than ever before in the history of society. And
yeah, so I mean, I just got up here and said something similar to that, is not undermining parental input and what we as parents decide for our own children.
As a parent, it is difficult enough to try to fight against social media, YouTube, and all of these peers of my kids. Things that my 12-year-old comes home and finds out at school and through friends. It's hard enough as a parent to deal with that aspect of it, let alone I send them to school to learn anything outside of core curriculum is my job. My husband and mine, that's our job. Not the school, not peers, not anything else.
Yeah, I'd just say focus to the reading and math proficiency. We need to do that. The reason it should be easier today is because we have less students. Less people are having kids, right? So the student population is going down. Lori Lightfoot in Chicago 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago in the Tribune said, we have a black exodus from Chicago. That's why we have empty schools. That's an Illinois exodus. That's not just a Chicago exodus. People are leaving because of the property taxes are going up. We are a highly taxed state. Referendum will fail because of that, again. But we need to focus on those core skills, and we could use e-learning to boost that as well.
I don't think any of those things should be taught in the schools at all. The only thing maybe would be a guidance counselor, but that guidance counselor would need to get the parents involved. And then with my speech, you know, my views on basically all that last part was really about the CRT and treating every kid as equal, no matter the race, creed, religion, color, it doesn't matter. They should all be held to the same standard.
Thanks, that was a really loaded question. There's a lot of components there. I will say that critical race theory, CRT, is not taught in K through 12 education in Unit 5. It is a college curriculum. I'll also indicate, and I did bring with me today, in case anyone would like to see it, comprehensive sex education is not taught district-wide in Unit 5. It's taught through a health course in both 8th grade and 9th grade. I have the permission slip with me today. Parents are notified in advance before students go through that set of curriculum. Parents are given the opportunity to review that information, to review the course content, and they always have the option to opt out.
correct.
Great. So I think the original question, as we've gone through some iterations here, had to do with DEI in our schools. And I think it's important to remember the purpose and the value of DEI is to unite us all, right? We've talked today about how this campaign is very divisive. And DEI is designed to unite us as a community, to bring us together. Let's remember who DEI helps. It helps our special ed students. It helps our students who are impacted by poverty. It helps our low-income students. Because of the experience my daughter had at Colleen Hoos Elementary. Colleen Hoos is the school that houses the BEST program for the district's most severe students in the special ed realm, right? They have the most difficulty controlling their behaviors and moderating that. And the Colleen Hoos environment is just so welcoming and so accepting of everyone. And my kids would come home every day and say, oh yeah, Johnny had a bad day. Not only did Johnny have a bad day, he threw a major tantrum in the hallway, tore down all of the decorations and all of the class projects, and you know, had to be escorted out of school, right? But they were totally okay with that. He just had a bad day. And we all have bad days, right? And we all want to be accepted and we all want to be lifted up when we have those bad days. And because of that experience that my daughter had at Colleen Hoos Elementary, still today as a freshman, she's considering special education or social work as her career. So that's some of the benefits of DEI.
I'm not going to take too much time because I know we probably have other questions. I'm just going to throw out two things here. In terms of what our community looks like, just know that there are over 40 languages spoken here in Unit 5. And I think it really speaks to how much of our rich diversity that we have here in Unit 5, and that really reflects us as a country. And then I will also want to say that when I'm really thinking about what issues matter, I'm just making sure that I'm leading with love. I'm a big advocate of Christ's love, making sure that I'm serving my God in a way that actually addresses everyone's needs, and I'm just a big advocate of that. So that's all I'm really going to say on that.
So I'm going to ask for a little empathy here with my response as it relates to DE&I specifically. So I would love to live in a world where we didn't need DE&I, but unfortunately that's not the reality. I mean, I mentioned in my opening that my wife and I were first generation college graduates. And so it's important to have representation. With my 3 kids, I have not had them come to me and express any concerns as it relates to some of these topics we're talking about now. All I know is that I would like to walk in a room like this and see more representation, period. And that gets at the heart of DE&I. I've been a contributing member of this community since 1996. And part of that is because people recognize that it's important to have people from different backgrounds represented. So I believe I would love to have a scenario where we didn't have to address this type of topic, but that's just not my reality.